billion to help Nigeria achieve 3 million barrels of oil per day target by 2023. What are the fine lines of this agreement, and what really does it mean for the sector? Well, joining us now to speak on this is energy expert Dr. Peter Ademu-Eteh. Welcome to the morning show, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's great to have you on the program.
Good to be here with you.
Seeing as the NNPC seems to have burnt a lot of relationships when it comes to new investors in the oil and gas market, and cash calls with IOCs have also been a problem, it's of no surprise that we have turned to China for this strategic partnership. How do you see this partnership playing out?
Thank you. This is not the first time the Chinese are making a foray into the Nigeria oil and gas industry. We must put this news in context of what is in existence now. You will agree with me that there are many Chinese companies already participating in Nigeria's oil and gas industry. For example, ADAX. ADAX is a subsidiary of Sinopec, one of the biggest Chinese oil and gas companies already operating in Nigeria. We also have a National Petroleum Corporation that have been partnering with NNPC. They have, because on OPLs, which will be converted to OMLs shortly, and they are working with NNPC in the Lechak Basin and also in the Benue Trough. In fact, they are working with IDSL, that's Integrated Data Services, a subsidiary of NNPC, to gather seismic data. Coming to and also to put it in context, August last year, the immediate past GMD of NNPC met with some Chinese consortium in Dubai to develop a term sheet agreement on financing of the 614-kilometer Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano gas pipeline. So the Chinese have been here and they are interested in investing more. Actually, what the MD of China National Oil Offshore Company told the GMD of NNPC 3 days ago, he said that Chinese investment in oil and gas is about $16 billion, and they are willing to put more. Now, the way the industry is going, this is good news for Nigeria, and I believe that hard lessons have been learned by NNPC and other stakeholders, that the China National Offshore Oil Company Corporation is coming to Nigeria to partner with NNPC is good news. Like the GMD said, NNPC have been having appetite for growing daily production level to 3 million barrels of crude per day. And with this coming entry of the Chinese, particularly in the offshore, don't forget that the future of the industry in Nigeria is in the offshore because it's juicy and cost-effective without interruptions in production. But having said that, I don't know how the details of how this is going to play out, but what my take on it for now, in this early part of our discussion, is to say it is good news for Nigeria.
Even in spite of the fact that the general global trend seems to be heading towards renewable energy and diversifying away from fossil fuel, are we behind the curve? Should we be concerned by this?
We should be very concerned by this. You know that the EU ban on fossil fuels will take effect from 2040. And many other US and other many of our customers also are keen into this. They are banned on internal combustion engines, and they are moving towards electric cars and renewable energy. We should be concerned. My worry, I don't call it concern now, my worry is that NNPC is playing at the tactics level, not at the strategic level. What do I mean? Aramco is also a national company, but if you look at what Aramco is doing, last year,
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Dr. Ademu-Eteh, we apologize. We lost the signal for a minute there. You were expressing your worries about the global trend towards renewable energy and where we stand.
Yes, I was. I was saying that the EU, for example, has done the kind of EU-wide ban on fossil fuel as from 2040. Even China that is coming here, they also have their target in moving away from the fossil fuel and along with other industrialized nations. So I'm saying that NNPC is operating at the tactics level and not at the strategic level. We should be thinking of diversifying our energy basket into renewable energy, as Aramco is doing. That is the Saudi national oil company. Aramco is investing $9 billion into renewable energy, despite the fact that Aramco posted a net profit of $111 billion US dollars last year. So what I'm saying in essence is that, yes, the entrance of China National Offshore Oil Company to invest in our oil and gas is good, but better will be if we can begin to look for strategic partners that will help to drive our thinking and implementation in terms of renewable energy so that we don't put all our eggs in one basket.
But seeing as really and truly, Doctor, Nigeria is a gas producer with oil as a byproduct, isn't it time that we start investing heavily into gas infrastructure, as seemingly this will bring us more revenue than we currently get from oil?
You are absolutely right. We have 202 trillion cubic feet of gas, huge. And the gas infrastructure we have to tap into that is not fantastic. And as you know, that gas is the cash cow. Gas is clean energy. Gas is the future, you know, along with renewable energy. So I will also suggest that NNPC could begin to look for more strategic partners that will help develop the gas infrastructure so that we are able to tap into what we have. And unlike oil with the vagaries of price change, the gas industry is a long-term investment, and most of the gas agreements are long-term agreements that keeps the money, the dollars just flowing in. So I agree with you totally that our focus should be more on gas and more renewable energy than oil that is almost being phased out in the coming 2 decades.
How would you assess Mele Kyari's performance so far and his prospects? You mentioned Saudi Aramco, which is by far the world's most profitable company. They did generate, as you said, $111 billion in profits, which is almost double what Apple posted at $59 billion. And then you look at NNPC. I mean, just look at NNPC. There's no reason why NNPC cannot operate profitable ventures in all sectors of the oil industry. Do you think Mele Kyari has what it takes to make NNPC profitable?
I believe that the current GMD Kyari will make that difference if he is able to generate some paradigm shift, not just step change in how the industry is being run, how NNPC is being run. When I say if he's able, I'm talking of institutional changes, which he can help being at the driver's seat at NNPC. Number one, like I said, NNPC has been operating at tactics level. NNPC has been biting more than it can chew. The issue of restructuring and unbundling NNPC is key. And I think Kyari has what it takes to generate that change. He is an experienced industry expert. Kyari is not a novice. He knows what are the challenges facing NNPC long before he came into the saddle. So my take on this is this, that Nigeria as a country will have to decide where we want to go. Do we want to keep making motions without movement and running an oil and gas company at a loss? Certainly not. If we don't want to continue in that, it means we have to bring in some changes that will eliminate waste and bring in profitability. And in terms of diversification, in terms of governance, in terms of finance, in terms of even how everything is run. For example, NNPC is in exploration and production, NNPC is in midstream, NNPC is in refining, NNPC is in distribution and marketing, and NNPC is also involved in finance. So how does it add up? I do not see the current NNPC having that capability or capacity to carry the load it is carrying. So what I'm suggesting is KRA should be able to be on the driver's seat, work with relevant stakeholders and power blocks and approval bodies, as it were, to see how NNPC, I'm talking of National Assembly now, the presidency and other people, other stakeholders, to see how this could be, energy could be unbundled to make it more efficient. Okay. Number two, if you look at...
go ahead.
Come in here?
No, go ahead.
Number two, good. Number two, good. You could see that the petroleum industry bill, we have been playing games with it. If you look at it, our reserves are dropping. There is the oil reserve now, which we are even banking on, they are dropping. So no major investments are coming in because of the uncertainty in the investment climate. So I think part of what KRA can do with other stakeholders, when I'm talking of stakeholders now, I'm talking of international oil and gas companies, I'm talking of international financiers, I'm talking of even the host communities, to see that the PIB is passed, and especially the financials, so that everybody is clear where we are going. But in all, KRA has what it takes to generate the change we are longing for, to run NNPC on a profitable platform. But that must be done with some changes, paradigm shift, not just step change in how the current NNPC is being run. Labo.
Okay. We do have to go on a break in just a second, and when we come back, I want to speak to you about the NNPC's involvement in oil assets and what this is doing for investment, and get your take on that as well. But we'll go on a very quick break, Dr. Ademu-Eteh, and when we come back, we'll have this conversation. Do stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show. Still with us discussing this new strategic partnership between Nigeria and China is Dr. Peter Ademu-Eteh. Welcome back to the program, Doctor. Now, before we went on a break, I was telling you that I wanted to key in here on the involvement of the NNPC with regards to our oil assets. It seems as though this is something that pushes a lot of investors to the sideline, and it has for many years because a lot of people have seen the NNPC as inefficient and incompetent. Are you saying that the solution to these problems came with, or is coming with, Mele Kyari? Or really and truly, do we need to start looking at less involvement of the government in our oil assets?
Good. If you look at the current regime, all the international oil and gas companies, they are into the joint venture. They are into joint venture agreement with NNPC. But I would say, funny enough, the joint venture is unincorporated joint venture. What do we mean by this? Let me, for the interest of our viewers, it means that the joint ventures are not legal entities. For example, NNPC, the joint venture between ExxonMobil, Chevron, Total, and Najib. NNPC has 60% equity there, and then the IOC 40%. But like I said, they are unincorporated joint venture. NNPC has 55% equity in Shell, and then Shell and Total and Najib have share the remaining balance. Now, what do we mean by unincorporated joint venture? It's not a legal person. The solution to, and when they want to form project, the joint venture is run on joint operating agreement based on other MOUs. When they want to fund a project, you fund the project according to your equity in the joint venture. But it is the IOCs that the operators of the joint venture. Which means if you want to do a project of, say, $100 million US, and NNPC has 60% equity in the joint venture, NNPC brings to the table $60 million, the other JV partner brings the balance of 40%. Now, the way out to go to help, and Kachuku, I think, was trying to toe that line when before he left office, is to go the way of incorporated joint venture. That is the NLNG model. That way, it becomes, the joint venture is incorporated. As I talk now, ExxonMobil is owned by ExxonMobil. It's not, Nigerian government does not have share in ExxonMobil. The same thing with Shell, the same thing with Chevron. The joint venture agreement, the companies that are incorporated are operators of that joint venture. I don't know whether I'm making sense here. But in LNG, yes, the IOCs are there with federal government, with NNPC holding the shares in trust for federal government. But the joint venture is incorporated. It's a legal entity. There is nothing like a cash call in NLNG. And you see how efficient NLNG has been run. Posting dividends to shareholders, I think we've been getting like $1.something billion, $2 billion of dividends for NLNG. Why? The NLNG is an incorporated joint venture. They go to the money and finance market and borrow money, do business in the most efficient manner, and pay dividends to shareholders. So I think to make NNPC and the other the shares they have in the industry work better, the way to go is the way of incorporated joint venture, the NLNG model. That way, NNPC will no longer pay cash call to any IOC in the name of joint venture. That money now could be developed or deployed into developing other sectors of the economy. Number two, if you go to borrow money from money market to do business, men, Leila and Tundun, you will agree with me that you will be more efficient because you are paying back the loan you've taken with interest. So you will not have free money to throw around. So what I'm saying is NNPC has all it takes to generate the paradigm sheet I've talked about. Is okay. This is we've been doing joint venture agreement with the IOCs and even with some indigenous players. It's also a joint venture agreement. Some of the acreages, Shell, Chevron, Total divested. Some of the local players bought it, and it's still a joint venture agreement still with them. I think the way to go is to make those joint ventures incorporated joint ventures and let them be run on with commercial mindset, speed, delivery, and we'll be able to have improved bottom line. I think that is the way NNPC can go to change the game.
That's a far tidier structure. That's a far tidier structure and more efficient. I wanted to ask you now about exploration in Lake Chad Basin. Shortly before his retirement, the former GMG of NNPC, Mekansi Baru, announced that would resume. Do you think that Mele Kyari will continue with that, considering the fact that as of 2016, over $340 million had already been sunk into that project that yielded really no fruit?
Well, exploration is a lot of risk anywhere in the world. And with modern technology emerging on a kind of a yearly basis or daily basis, as I'll put it, I believe that there could be progress in finding oil in the Lake Chad region. As I talk with you, the China National Oil Corporation is partnering, one of the subsidiaries, partnering with IDSF. IDSF is an NNPC subsidiary. They are gathering seismic data in the Benue Trough as I talk with you. They're in the field. I'm aware of that. I think KRE will continue with the exploration in the Lake Chad region and get results if only we can up the technology. What we did yesterday and did not yield fruit to us, we will do it today. It's not yielding fruit, we should not do it tomorrow. If the technology is deployed did not yield fruit, I think the NNPC under KRE can up the game and go for higher technology that will change the game and help us find oil. Because you remember, oil is being found in unlikely places where 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't believe oil could be found there. And I think the Lake Chad region and the Benue Trough would not be an exception. Laila and Tundun?
Another fair point that you make, I want to ask you about the refineries as well. I mean, Miller Kyari has said that he's going to have our refineries up and running by 2023. But do you think as well that we should be looking towards privatizing our refineries? Or how exactly do you think he should go about this? I mean, this is a project that he's trying to spearhead. So I'm pretty sure he's not joking about achieving it. It's just a question now of how we achieve that in the best possible way for us. What would you say?
Well, I will be very blunt here. The successive leadership of NNPC, they've been paying lip service to maintain the refineries in this country. For example, in the past 4 years, nobody has done any turnaround maintenance on those refineries. I stand to be corrected. Number two, we are talking of, before this government came into power, that, oh, subsidy payment was a fraud, this, that. And how come that 4 years gone down the line, common turnaround and around maintenance have not been done on our 4 refineries? I think the refineries with modern technology, they can be retooled and make to work. But I always argue, if I bought a car 20 years ago, that car can be retooled and make to function well, but at what cost? For me, what does it take to build new refineries? Especially with modern technology or modular refineries, what does it take? Now, the turnaround maintenance done previously that have become a kind of cesspool of corruption, because I didn't see any impact, any difference in the refineries operating at full capacity. So I think the way for me, this is my personal thinking, and I'll be blunt here, that if KRE wants to go the way of doing turnaround maintenance, it will not work. Unless he wants to retool and re-equip those refineries, but then at one cost. For me, government should be thinking of scrapping those refineries and building new ones. That way, we're going to achieve it. Number two, government also should be thinking of PPP, private-public partnership, in the refinery. Like I said, we don't, when we run the refinery like government ministries, we cannot achieve results. There is no commercial mindset in those, the way the refineries are being run. There's a kind of the lack of transparency in the way the refineries are being run. We're producing some refined products in country, and we're importing some. Who is telling us how much are we producing in country, how much are we importing? That information is shrouded in secrecy. So I think to make it more, the refineries work, KRE should be thinking of public-private partnership, and I know many of the IOCs are experts in this. One thing with today's oil and gas industry, it has become more globalized like a neighborhood. And you get expertise from anywhere you can get it that will help your cause to make more money. So I think KRE can do it. He has the will, but then he has to do it differently and not the same way his predecessors have gone and we did not get result. Laila and Tundun.
So you've actually put the government's target at achieving 90% local refining capacity into a different context there. So let's look at another target expressed by Mele Kyari regarding something you also just touched on, transparency and accountability within the NNPC. You referred to secrecy within the NNPC. What efforts should be made there to really just open up the NNPC so that we all know and there are no longer any secrets?
Yeah, Tundun and Leila, Kyari started on a good note. When during his handover ceremony, he said he will ensure transparency and that he will work with EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, to ensure that corporate governance is improved. So the issues of corporate governance, most of the time, what an organization plans to do or their strategy, they may not want to divulge it in the public. But I know, knowing Kyari and his pedigree, he's a serious-minded person with a lot of integrity in his basket. So I believe that they will be more open in communicating what they do to us so that we can understand what they are doing. They will also be more forthcoming in sharing their strategic plans with us. That is, I mean, the Nigerians and the other strategic stakeholders, so that we are not just in the dark and it is when it has happened that we get to know. We also want to know where they are heading to and how they want to get there. And when they are there, they say, we are, based on what we told you, we are now where we promised we will be. And in doing that, it will entail a lot of openness in communication, openness in a kind of a reporting, you know, a kind of a new reporting initiative where we will know where we are heading to, where we are now, and what he's planning to do, how he's going to do it, and what does success look like in terms of key performance indicators. How do we know that we have arrived at our destination? And what are the milestones that we can say, okay, based on transparency and corporate governance, this is what he said, and this is what he's doing, and this is where he's going. That way, when these things are communicated, we'll be able to know that we're on track or we are not on track.
Thank you very much for all your insights. Dr. Peter Ademu-Eteh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
It's time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we'll review top stories in today's newspapers. Stay with us.